Hey, welcome back to 5 Things I Wish I Knew Before Planting My Church. My name is Mike. It's so much fun to be together. And if you've made it this far, you've already heard me go over the list. But I want to go over it just one more time, just to recap it, make sure it gets ingrained into our minds, the things that we need to be preparing for as we go to launch our church, as we prepare to start this new work. Number 1, the things that I wish I would have known is I wish I knew the burden of pastoring. Now that I've been a pastor for several years, I wish I would have known the burden of pastoring. I wish I would have known the loneliness of leadership. I wish I would have known the demand of fresh content. We're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a second. Number 4, the pressures of financial management. And number 5, the fulfillment that comes from changed lives. So let's dive into the demand for constant, fresh content. What do I mean? Well, basically put, if you had a calculator that needed to add up every time I needed a sermon, every time I needed a staff leadership devotional, every time I needed to post an inspirational thought on social media, every time I needed to post a video of progress that's being made in our church's building, or anytime I needed to put together a campaign for giving or a Christmas outreach, whatever it is, that is content creation, and the demand for that is higher than I ever imagined. When I was a pre-church planter, I never knew that people expected to hear from me every Sunday. I needed to come with a fresh word from God. That demand is a real thing. And now in the day of social media, the demand is even higher. Before, it was every 6 days you would need to hear a word from your pastor, but now it is every 6 hours. They're expecting to know what you're doing, where you're eating, what God is speaking to you, how it can affect their life, and the demand for content is a real thing. How do we meet this demand? But also, how do we avoid burnout from trying to meet this demand? How do we slow down? How do we navigate through the constant attention that our people seem to need by the content, from the content that we create? Well, I think there's a couple practical things you need to keep in mind. Number 1 is you can't do it all. You cannot do it all. You need to have a team of people that help you identify the things that you are gifted at, the things that you are great at, and let you run in the lane that God has called you to run in. If you can't do a YouTube video on the 3rd Monday of every month, don't sweat it. Just don't do it. But if you could do an inspirational Instagram live video on the 2nd Tuesday of every month, then do it. Do whatever you're gifted at, and then outsource within your team the rest of it. The demand is high. Every 6 days, you have to have heard from God and bring a fresh word behind the sacred desk, behind the pulpit. And I want to encourage you with this. Man, we're here to help. The Church Multiplication Network is designed to foster relationships that when you get stuck, when you have writer's block, when you have a creative block, when you're like, I don't know what I'm going to preach on 2 weeks from now, you can call a friend. You can call someone at CMN that can help you navigate through. You can get those resources that we have online at cmnlead.com that will help motivate you, that will push you into the next level. That way you don't have fatigue, content creator fatigue. You don't hit writer's block. I love the relationships that I've developed because I can call them and say, hey, can you send me your notes when you preached on tithing? Hey, can you send me your notes when you did that relationship series? Hey, what should we call this series that's all about finding the will of God? Whatever it is that you're going through, you don't have to burn out by yourself from the demand for fresh content that the church will always have. I want to encourage you, man, lean in to the relationships that the Church Multiplication Network provides. And also stay tuned for our next video. It's all about making sure that we handle the pressures of financial management well. I'll see you next time.